Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tankar, your bartender in the OSR. With me, as always, on Saturday night is my lovely wife, Rachel.
Hello.
So, folks, I know you saw we're going to be talking about social media. But before we dive into the social media, we're going to do our usual updates on our own personal health. I did something, and I'll be the first person to admit I can delay, I can procrastinate. I used to do it at work, but Rach, please don't kick the dice around.
I just put my foot down on the floor.
You knew there were dice on the floor.
And then they
rolled.
kind of went.
Yeah. I was procrastinating. Hey, Tom. I was procrastinating to make an appointment with a nephrologist, which I never heard of before.
Yes.
And of course,
So a nephrologist is a specialist in the kidney.
yes. And I have two doctors that regularly every 3 months are seeing blood work. And one doctor sees it once a year. And that's my specialist when it comes to my heart failure. And my specialist is the one that wanted me to see the nephrologist because my numbers for my kidney were close but not on point. They were out of range. So I had a lot of appointments that were coming up. TXG, welcome. So I kind of punted on making the appointment. So I finally got the appointment made last Tuesday.
Yeah.
It wasn't Monday because we were in family mode on Monday. All hands on deck kind of deal. So I did it on Tuesday and got my appointment 3 months out. So this is something to remember too. Like when you're making appointments with specialists, I am blessed and lucky that like my cardiologist who needed one of our family members of my family needed to see a cardiologist and he got an appointment within like 2 or 3 days. Probably could have gotten one within a day if necessary. That's the kind of cardiologist that I have. He did that for me.
Yes, and that's a rarity here because there's a shortage in a lot of specialties.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably true nationwide that there's usually several months of a wait for certain specialties.
Yeah.
So, like the nephrologist, that's all the way in July.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm calling to make this appointment, and I'm already working this little calendar out in front of me of like the next 6 weeks of my doctor's schedules and taking parents to their appointments and all this stuff. And it's like July. I went, oh, I guess I don't have any appointments going that far
gynecology here is another one like that. It's hard to get appointments that are close.
So, kind of like a lesson learned, right? Now, Monday, I have to renew my Moonjaro. Moonjaro still sounds like it should be like a Robin Williams movie, like Jumanji. So I have to renew my my Moonjaro prescription out. I took my last dose of the current 4-week dose yesterday. Excuse me. And I've had nausea off and on throughout the day. Nothing large, nothing where it totally occupies you, but you push through it. Because if you don't push through it, then it becomes something that occupies you. So overall, though, it's been good with my blood sugar, and I'm not really complaining. Tammy, welcome. A beautiful.
Yay, hello.
We hit like 87, 88 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Today
upper
hit
60s, was it?
I think it might have
70s.
Yeah, it might have hit 70, 71 today. Finally getting a little cooler. I had to open up windows, and we're on the second floor. It's a wood frame house, and it will retain the heat upstairs if you don't get the ventilation going. So you have to open up windows on both sides and hope there's a good breeze. And right now there's a good breeze. So that's certainly helping.
Yeah, it was just very humid yesterday. And then the day before that was like hot, but not annoyingly hot. It was just hot and nice. And dry.
It was nice because it's April and you're hitting those temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
If it was July and you were getting that, you'd still be like, oh.
Yeah, it's hot, but it's not,
Yeah. So we're already
unbearable.
Now, no secret, we like to sleep in. Okay, this is the beauty every time. And when I had to wake, I had to be at work at 6:00 in the morning. I would roll out of bed at like 5:10, be out of the house by 5:30, get to work by 6. You did it because you had to do it. Yeah, I'm not a morning person. Midnights actually was probably the best schedule I worked, except for one important factor. I'm married to this wonderful woman, and I didn't get the chance to see much of my wonderful wife when I was working midnights. But midnights was like, oh, I can handle the schedule. Unless I wound up sleeping in 2 shifts on my midnights. I would take like a 3.5, 4 hour nap in the morning, do some stuff, and then before Rachel would come home in the evening, before I had to go to work, I'd take another 2.5, 3 hour nap. So I would. The days were weird when I was working. So I guess we'll dive into the social media stuff because there's a lot to delve into with social media. And then we'll, of course, take the feedback and we'll deal with a few other things that are on our minds. Maybe talk about bonsai. God, I'm sure it's going to bore the hell out of people.
Oh, that's nice. Your new hobby.
Yes. So, the reason why we're talking about social media is because, I made a video earlier this week, and I actually made a post on the Facebook community because somebody took it upon themselves to declare that the neutral ground, which means we don't discuss politics and other important life issues, really meant that I could talk about whatever I want to. It just neutral ground just means that you can't tell me to shut up.
Oh, he thought it was his safe space.
Yeah.
Neutral and safe or not.
Yeah. It's
necessarily synonymous.
It's not the same thing, dude. It's not the same thing.
Oh,
but here's the thing.
He learned the hard way. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was, but
if we all remember, listen, doesn't matter where you fell in the political spectrum, or if like the majority of Americans, you fell right damn in the middle, and generally probably didn't give a flying fuck in the end. But 2016 was a rough year for a lot of people, especially on social media. And not just for the people that were engaging in it, okay? It was for the people that were reading it. If you want to talk about pollution, okay, or noise pollution in a virtual space, election time, presidential elections, our last 2 cycles, 2016 and 2020, created a lot of noise, a lot of pollution. And me and Rach did a lot of discussing on this. We took the dog for a beautiful walk today. It was a beautiful dog walking day. Here's the thing, all right? I can talk forever about OSR RPGs, okay? I'm passionate about it, okay? If I talk about OSR RPGs with other people that like old school role-playing, like my gaming group, Joe the Lawyer, Rob Conley, Matt Jackson, Greg Christopher, Tim Shorts, people like that, right? We're all into it, and we might disagree on certain aspects of what's important, what isn't, but we all agree it's an important topic. We're not trying to change minds, right? Because we're all talking to each other. We're already converted. Here's a problem with social media, all right? Especially in times when people get very passionate. You like candidate jackass number 1. In my opinion, most candidates are jackass 1 or 2.
Well, they're all the same.
Yeah, it's like opposite sides of the coin, but it's the same fucking coin. In the end, it doesn't matter whether it's heads or tails. The general.
We're all gonna have to pay for it. That's the bottom line.
We're all gonna get fucked. But you're very passionate about, I don't know, again, jackass candidate number 1, and you go on social media and you go onto your feed and you go, hey, my candidate, jackass candidate number 1, is amazingly fucking awesome. And your candidate, jackass candidate number 2, sucks you cock. Well, guess what? People that are already predisposed to like candidate number 1 are going, yeah, everything you say is right. And people that are predisposed to like candidate number 2 are going, you're a fucking asshole. And there's no in between. So here's one secret about social media that really, before they allow you to create a Facebook account, should be the first thing they tell you. you're not going to change anyone's mind. You're not. Okay? No matter how eloquent you post, you are going to either be preaching to the choir of your own cult-like church who already believe everything about the OSR that you believe, or pretty much close to it, or already believe everything about jackass candidate number one, or close to it. They're going to hear what you say, and they're going to be like, yeah, rah, rah, rah. And you're going to feel great because you have people supporting it. And then you can have people that go, fuck you, I like jackass candidate number two. And then you're going to go, oh, they're fucking evil. They're stupid. They're morons. They're, choose a name for them. You do not change minds on social media. Now, the reason why Rich and I love doing these videos, okay, because you come on to these videos, you already have an open mind about the topics we're going to discuss. You already have an open mind that we're going to talk about gamers' health. We're going to talk about heart problems. We're going to talk about obesity, diets, exercise, mental health, right? I don't have to convince you of anything. You take what you want and you leave the rest. I'm not going out here saying, the only true diet is a keto diet, which even I don't follow, but I'm going to tell you it's the only true diet. And if you're not following the true diet of keto, you're a blasphemy, and you're going to get fat and die early. Who the fuck wants to hear that shit? That's what social media during your presidential elections is all about.
Honestly. Right, that it gets to be almost a religious zeal that's behind what people are saying and how strongly they feel about it.
TXG, truth is subjective.
Yes,
truth is always from perspective. Okay, like I could go to a crime scene and I could get 3 different witnesses and get 3 different stories
because there's that many truths.
And none of them are lying, but everybody.
And then there's a subjective one, I guess, or an objective one. Sorry, one word. An objective one that is there, but we don't get a chance to fully see.
Right. So if you are going to go out into the world of social media and start, for lack of a better phrase, preach, all right? Because that's what it often comes down to. You're going to preach the truth. Well, that's your truth, all right? And guess what? Unless people already believe your truth, nobody wants to fucking hear it. Either people are going to be indifferent or people are going to get agitated. And usually those get agitated are ones that have a truth that is opposite yours. Polarities don't attract when it comes to these issues. Now, there are some ways you can, insulate yourself from some of this. One thing you can do, especially on Facebook, is that you don't have to unfriend people. There are people in the gaming community, as we get closer to the election, I already know which ones they are for me. I'm not going to name them because...
What do you mean that they get super passionate?
They get super passionate and...
as they believe, like they might use their social media as their soapbox to be able to... say their opinions and, what they want to see as an outcome. And that's their right to do it.
It is their right to do it, but it's your right.
It's your right also
to not listen.
Yeah, to sort of like remove things that.
Now, I remember back in the 2016 election, there was a plugin. I think it was a Google Chrome plugin for Facebook that allowed you to.
What does that mean?
It's a plugin, so it's like an app that works on the Chrome browser. I'm going to have to do a little... I used it in 2016 because...
Oh, really?
In 2016, my main feed... And remember, most of what I have is gamers. A few of my coworkers, but from when I was working, but mostly this is all gamers. And my feed was full of non-stop politics. Whether I was being preached to by someone who's politics, I went, okay, well, it kind of makes sense to me. What? Because I'm already predisposed. Or whether I was being preached to by somebody, I went, oh, I don't want to fucking hear this shit. I didn't want to hear either side. Okay? Because hearing something that I already am thinking doesn't really make a difference. And hearing shit that's just going to annoy me. So this allowed me to filter those conversations out. And it was not 100% effective. Certain things squeaked through, but it was much better. Oh, and also quieted down my Facebook feed. I don't do Twitter. Okay, I will share out my latest video on Twitter, and I step away. I don't go.
Other people make us aware of
Yeah,
whoever's acting a fool
yeah,
on there.
yeah. I don't do Twitter. I don't generally tweet. I don't say, you know, oh my God, look at what I ate today, or oh, this person is such a twat, or whatever. I've seen that. Listen, I've seen those conversations. It amazes me what people think they actually expect their audience to follow us that want to read. Cyrus, no truth is not subjective. Our perception of truth is, and we are all wrong to a moderate degree due to personal biases. All right,
yeah,
or
yeah,
completely wrong, as the case may be. Well, this is how it was explained to me as a rookie cop. Right? It's like,
that's how my grandma explained it.
well, we were explained that, listen, when you have to paint a picture, right? And the picture that you paint when you're saying the incident that happened is always from your perspective. Your perspective is imperfect. If we want to take this to the religious level, right? We could say that, man is created in the image of God, but we are all imperfect images because we are not, none of us are perfect. So anything that we interpret, which is anything that we see, is going to be, diffused through our own life experiences, our own abilities and disabilities. Remember the movie 12 Angry Men? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
One of the witnesses who couldn't have seen anything swore she saw something. But they had to point out that she couldn't have seen it. Right? But she wasn't lying because she believed she saw it. So just because somebody is
something happened in the way that she was handled as a witness.
Well, or something. She needed to feel relevant, and her mind filled in the blanks.
I couldn't remember the whole thing.
Yeah. Well,
it was a long time ago.
So these things, yes, truth is absolute, but we rarely see the absolute truth. Yes, absolutely. Exactly. Imperfect beings have imperfect perspectives by definition, which is why, like with me, I get annoyed when people go on social media and they start speaking the absolute. This is the absolute truth, and this individual is a piece of, and this individual is holy.
Well, they're trying to speak their truth, I guess. Yes, you're right. Because you hear that a lot lately. Speak your truth, or
right, but it's,
that kind of thing, or like, yeah.
So another thing that you can do, okay, these are just tactics for your own sanity, because listen, we've all seen it too, right? We all know people that because of presidential elections or COVID had mental breakdowns. All right, they aren't the same because something happened. These were extreme events, just like
they were traumatized by the pandemic.
By
whatever happened to them in it, whether they had COVID, whether they had long COVID,
yep,
whether just the idea of that was enough to
so
wreak havoc in their life.
So we've all seen people, again, if you tell me that you don't know anybody that didn't have a breakdown because of one of the last two elections, then you're not on social media. Because trust me, you can see them on social media. Here's the other thing that you can do. As we get closer to the election, and you'll see it, especially if you're on Facebook. MeWe has it, but who the hell goes to MeWe, honestly? And I'm not going to talk about Twitter because I don't use Twitter enough to give you any kind of tactics to protect yourself or lessen your stress. You can unfollow people, not unfriend. So that means that they're still your friend, they're still on your friend list, but you don't get their bullshit. I'm going to call it bullshit. You don't get their bullshit, their regurgitation, in your feed. So you don't have to look at it and go. Oh.
And then, like, when things calm down, you put them back in.
You go. All right, I'll follow again.
Do they know that you did that?
No, follow, unfollow. They don't know. If you unfriend somebody, they'll know when they go to.
That's good.
Hey, why isn't Tenkar my friend anymore? He fell off my friend list. What the hell happened? And and block is the extreme. All right, when you and I
mean, honestly, probably one of the best skills to be able to use in these situations is, like, that person's like a friend to you online or in your life, or because a lot of us have people in our lives that believe very differently from us because they have extremely different life experience and upbringings and all that. So, to me, one of the skills I feel like I try to use and be true to, and I think maybe in New York we developed this skill.
Thick scanner?
Well, that is one. But in New York we developed this skill because we are so often used to seeing chaos, like, going on the train in the morning, in the evening, coming home, or whenever you're on the train. Most often there's going to be a psychotic individual who walks into the train car and starts to preach about their religion. And some people don't have this skill, even though they live here, and it's kind of dangerous because, they'll be like, shut the F up, blah, 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 blah. And they scream at them or try to debate them, or, and most people just like turn up their headset, and others of us, like, I usually listen. So like, what are they talking about? Well, it's not going to be a good scene if somehow killing self or others is involved, if it devolves into that from this wonderful religious, information. But the way that I think of it is, these people really believe that what they're saying is going to save somebody's life. And so, or save somebody's soul, because they feel like it's doing that for them somehow. And so for me, I just feel like, let them have it, let them.
You're a better person than
say what they're going to say. And then, it's like you can get up and walk away, but, it's a decent act to want to help people out. And I think they, it feels when they start doing this and get really into frenzy and they're and the Lord and the la la la.
This is what happens on social media.
Yes, yes, they whip themselves into a frenzy, and like they absolutely believe it. I'm not going to shape what they're going to say. I'm not going to change their belief that they're going to save somebody or they're going to change something. Because I don't have that power to do that.
I don't even want to listen to them.
Yeah, leave them have it, and then my stop's going to be coming up in 3 stops.
Well, but here's the thing.
Come on, if it's going to be like through 59 to from like Queens Plaza to 59th, I'm like, oh shit, it's going to be a long ride.
I don't even want to fucking hear it. But I'll get to that in a second. TXG. I had a friend of 20 plus years who went off the deep end after the election. It was sad saying goodbye, but I found I had to. I'm sorry to hear that. It seems to be happening more lately. Blame social media. Exactly. Yeah. So now here's another thing that you can do. Besides, Rachel would kind of like humor them. I'd be listening in to make sure their violence is not going to be directed at me or anybody around
and
me.
That's always like on the low level. That's always the bottom line. So I do turn the headset off, like so that I can hear what they're saying. He said this before he jumped at somebody or took his knife out.
Yeah, I'm thinking tactical if it's in person. But here's
I just know I could be maybe a good ear witness.
Yeah. Here's another tactic that you can use aside from unfollowing people. Okay. I I when it comes to the main Facebook feed, I don't share much in the main Facebook feed. I'll share my posts or whatever, my video, my blog posts. I don't make announcements like, "Ooh, I took my first shit of the day," or "Ooh, I had an amazing breakfast. Here's a picture of it after it came out of me." I don't.
What?
I don't do that shit. Okay, some people
do this.
well, you get pictures of everything pretty much, and you're gonna.
I don't play with that.
Here's something that you can do. If your main feed is toxic, okay, and it can become toxic. I'm seeing the signs already. All right, I'm already seeing the signs that my main feed. I'm gonna have to start unfollowing individuals because. But oh, hey, the Pentecostals are out.
Yeah, they are rocking.
The
It's
other
like coral over there.
Another thing you can do, and this is especially if you have specific interests, like I love Castles and Crusades. Well, join the Castles and Crusades Facebook group and participate in that group, because the conversations in a group like that are going to be about Castles and Crusades. And when they delve into politics and the like, they get shut down very quickly, because groups are generally speaking, they're moderated, and they have rules. Your journal feed has no rules, so that can be an issue. TXG. I used to be interactive with social media, Facebook, but not now. Now I'm a passive observer.
That's me.
Yes,
That's me. I'm more of a lurker. I read. Sometimes I will be push a comment, but usually the desire to comment is based on something positive that I liked that they did. I kind of ignore like the generally the stuff, like if I'm in a community of something like yoga or something and people are talking about certain things,
I mean,
then I'll just be like, oh, okay, well,
in the days of Google Plus and in the days of Facebook prior to the 2016 election, I used to engage in a lot of conversations on Facebook that were quite passionate but still respectful. And you can have people that placed differently on the political spectrum could have a conversation, and it didn't end up with basically calling people Nazis or woke pieces of shit, because that's where it seems to end up now. And you can't.
Yeah,
and I have to remember too, it's not about, you're not convincing anybody on the other side. Before 2016, you could have conversations that could go on for days, and with many different people participating, and it could get heated, but it was still respectful. And they'd be like, all right, I appreciate your point of view. However, as I see it, and you know what? You don't get that these days. And so the reason why I don't allow politics and social issues as a rule in the communities that I moderate is because we can't be adults anymore. 2016 killed adulthood on social media, and having conversations with opposite or conflicting perspectives where people could actually debate, right? They don't do that anymore. Now it is name calling, and it is toxic. And it will get more toxic as the next election cycle gets to us. So you got to be proactive, especially if you're somebody who spends much of your day on social media. I mean, I'll open up my Facebook feed, look for updates, notifications, check my notifications real quick. Oh, that's somebody like. Oh, for some reason it's telling me it's a new post by Joe Block. Why is it interesting? All right, well, Joe, I'll comment maybe. But I don't go through my main feed very often, because when I do, I find things like either people complaining about life in general, people complaining about finances, family. It's all complaining, by the way.
Well, suffering.
Yeah. And you know what? We all have things that upset us. We all have things that put us in a hole. We all have things that
right. Everybody has something that creates suffering for them in their life, all the time.
Yeah.
like constant things, but it's not getting stuck in there like this.
Yeah. So engaging in toxic rhetoric all the time just burns you out. It does. And here's the thing, too. Those that it doesn't burn out are the ones that enjoy the attention and this is their focus. So I will name one person only because their Kickstarter is as old as our marriage and it still hasn't fulfilled. Gareth Skarka. Now, Gareth, if he took the time that he spent tweeting, but he's a twit, so it could be twitting. If he took the time he spent on Twitter on a daily basis and put that into actually putting a fucking product in the hands of his backers, we would have gotten Far West years ago. But instead, he is consumed.
Well, I guess that wasn't really a concern for him to get that out there.
Well,
it was more of a concern to build his persona or his image.
His stats. And here's the other thing too. There are people, and I know most of us go, "Who the hell would want that?" But there are some people who define themselves and their success by their influence on social media, and that they hold sway, and that their word can damage companies within whatever sphere they're in because they got a following. Whatever. Especially on Twitter, right? These people that have their huge Twitter followings, they feel that is what validates them. Doesn't validate you. If you yes, twitting. I'm using that. Yeah. if you really want to have an impact in a community, all right, if it's in a community online, listen, when somebody has a GoFundMe for funeral expenses, medical expenses, stuff like that, you know what? Give it wings. Reshare it. Talk about it. Maybe mention, hey, I know this person, I know their family, and they're going through this. If you can find it in your heart, please share it. Do a positive act. Or participate in your community, your physical community. Get off your ass and participate. A lot of these people who have...
However it is that you share, ideas or share space even, like whether it be, through your religious affiliation, your community boards, your yoga place, whatever it is that, makes a community for you, or where you can start to be in community with other people.
Because again,
a lot of us tried to be in community during the pandemic, and
it was hard.
It was hard. Some communities were successful, so others weren't, probably because of this stuff. But being able to, be around other people, be in person.
Yeah.
It's a big
deal. By the way, RPG Grandma, welcome.
Oh, cool.
What are they going to do when their preferred social media platform is dead, as most are slowly going the way of the dodo word? Well, listen, they're not going to die that quickly, number one. And when you say dying Facebook isn't dying. All right, Facebook might be saturated, might not be growing, and to them, not growing is dying.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to be proactive. If you are going to actually have, if your words, your actions are going to have an effect, they're not going to have an effect because you're pontificating on your soapbox on Facebook saying, I don't know, like I said, jackass candidate number 1 is great, and jackass candidate number 2 is the devil. You know what? You're only talking to the people that already agree with you, and the people that don't agree with you are the ones that you're going to be calling Nazis or woke because they disagree with you. Make a difference. Go to a protest. All right? Be heard in person. All right? Listen, of anything, did I get inconvenienced by protests in New York City? Yes. But it made me think about what they were protesting, right? It's like, you sons of bitches are making me late for work. And then I'm going to have to go to work, and I'm going to have to work the protest. But but it made you think about these people are out here in 20-degree weather. They're passionate about this. They're believers.
Yes.
You're on Facebook mouthing off about some random shit. It's because
Talking shit just to be seen.
you have you have this instant platform, but you want that validation, and the only validation you're going to get are the people that agree with you. You go to a real protest, and we've gone to protests.
Yeah. You're gonna be with people that believe the same way you do.
At the protest.
Yes, and you might even actually find a few people that have varying, affiliations across the board. That's different than that one topic that you were protesting.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe there'll be counter protesters, and they'll be against you. But you know what?
Right? They'll ask a question.
Yeah, but at least that there's a legitimacy to social media, and I mean, I had
right. It's a step removed from reality.
Yeah, social media like Instagram. I've been told, well, if you really want to get your social media presence out there, you have to learn how to use Instagram. Listen, I'm not. I'm not.
A lot of people do, but
a lot of people do. You know what? Again, on Instagram, who are the most successful Instagram people? I don't know. Attractive women in their upper teens, young 20s that put pictures up of themselves in beautiful areas in their beautiful clothes. So again, it's fake.
Right.
It's fake. It's social media.
It's fantasy.
It's not
people that build fantasy. It's personas.
Right. It's not real. So when people get worked up on social media, and they do, it's because they can't live in reality and have these conversations. So they feel empowered. They feel empowered because they hide behind a computer screen and a keyboard, and they can talk shit. Yeah. Social media has limitations. It has a lot of limitations. It and here's part of the issue, and I'm gonna weave this into gaming right now too. Social media took a huge boost during the pandemic. Huge boost. Because people were stuck at home. I'm stuck at home. So now I gotta use Twitter to communicate and Facebook to communicate. Oh, I'm using MeWe. MeWe had Discord. Discord is huge right now, right? When it came to VTTs, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds 2, huge. And they were bragging, they were showing their numbers. You got to see the quarterly reports. Look how many people are using our platforms. And now that the bubble has burst, now that the pandemic has passed,
and people have been able to resume what
real life
their lives were before.
Now they don't release these numbers anymore. You don't see what the numbers are for Roll20. I haven't seen it since the end of 2021.
So you're saying that D&D, and you correct where it's right or wrong, D&D attracted a bunch of people during the pandemic because it was something they could do that was fun from home, and all virtual.
Yes.
And now they've gone back to whatever they've gone back to playing, and they've dropped that out, or they got back to playing in person the way that they
a bit of both.
Preferred it, or
I believe
just dropped out altogether.
I believe some people who started playing during the pandemic because you're stuck at home, right? You need entertainment.
Because I'm like, how could that just? I think they just found a new hobby and then they dropped it.
But here's the thing. I think what it is, a lot of people who were gaming in game stores and gaming at their friend's house and gaming at the library and gaming at school were now gaming by virtual tabletop.
Okay.
All right. So and now it backed off. So now the Wizards of the Coast is banking all their money on a VTT. And that was a false bubble. All right. Because we're gonna, as we're seeing,
it was just a means to an end during the pandemic,
right?
I mean, it's interesting when you look at it, because like in my profession, counseling, like psychotherapy, a lot more now is available to people online, for kids, especially like for adolescents. I've been really surprised to find out that most agencies now don't really have in-person services for kids, and they offer these things online,
Right.
and often like larger startups that are across several states, will start these groups online with kids from many different states, and you know um, try to get help that way, because these agencies, because of profit, a lot of times kids don't show in.
Profit is a motive.
Yeah, always. So even in the nonprofit, but
God forbid.
yeah. So it's just really interesting to see, like, in some situations, the virtual stuff has really taken off and taken on a life of its own. Yeah, there might be some older people that um like to go to the office, but by and large, a lot of the younger set really prefer to have
Which is
services virtually.
which is an interesting
Yeah.
trend, and I'm not saying that Woods of the Coast is going to lose money on their VTT idea. We live in New York City, and you'll hear constantly how the mayor is begging businesses to come back to Manhattan,
Yes.
even if they're still paying taxes on their mostly empty office space. The issue isn't just that; it's trickle down. People aren't shopping. People aren't spending money at the bodega, the deli, the restaurants, and it's a trickle down suffering when you take people physically out of that situation. I'm going to catch up on comments real quick because people are chatting.
Oh,
Uh, RPG Grandma, people post things on social media that they won't say in real life because
yes.
I call it internet muscles. Like, we had that joke, oh, so-and-so's got beer muscles. They're liquored up and they're ready to fight. Yeah, I dealt with a lot of that. But internet muscles are actually worse because people think that there's no, yeah, I can say whatever I want. I can say punch a Nazi. Oh yeah, I punch a Nazi. You're a Nazi. I'm gonna punch a Nazi. And you know what? Because and these are the same people that are gonna go out there and say, oh, words of violence. What? I My head blows up on that shit. All right, but because there's no way.
I thought silence was violence.
Oh, there's a lot of violence that is violence, but it's violence. If you get liquored up at a bar, all right, and you start, getting your beer muscles on and start threatening people, one or two things are going to happen. Well, maybe
The
three.
environment is going to control you.
Right. People are going to
Or
go, dude, shut the fuck up. All right, here, have some water, settle down. All right. Number one. Number two, the bar itself and or people in the bar are going to physically take you and remove you from the bar before you can cause a problem. Number three, you're going to cause a problem and somebody's going to lay you on your ass. All right? On the internet, you can't get to me. I can say whatever I want. And we see that all the time. And you're like, dude, and the same people that will pull that shit and they'll mouth off on the internet. You see them at I don't know, a gaming convention or a game store or whatever.
they're very cordial and sweet.
Hey, how you doing? And that's just because it's human nature. Because they don't even realize, and I do believe this. I think at some level they don't even realize how worked up they get behind the keyboard. It's like a trance.
Oh yeah, and they might not even remember.
That's what I'm saying. They might not even remember.
Oh yeah, sorry, I said that asshole thing to you on the internet.
I mean, I wasn't. I didn't really mean it. Like I love you like a brother.
No, I was just talking shit.
Yeah, I'm just talking. I know if we were at a bar, you'd probably punch me in my fucking face or tell me to take it outside. Come on, man, it's the internet. Can't we all just get along after I tell you to go fuck your mother? Wait, can't get along at that point? What do you mean? Come on, it's only the internet. Don, welcome.
Don.
Again, I'm catching up. Health, like gummy bears are healing. I don't, Michael. I don't know about that. I'd have to reach out to Joe the lawyer and see if he has any gummy bears of healing. I won't delve any deeper into that one. RPG Grandma, yes, we have less free time post pandemic. And listen, there are a lot of people that were unemployed, and making as much on unemployment as they were when they were working full time. And if you're getting paid to stay home and you want to take yourself, you can play D&D or MMOs or whatever's going to occupy your time um, for hours, days, weeks. But at some point, that fantasy ends and you have to work. Although, admittedly, a lot of people are still working from home. God bless them. Some jobs, like my former job, you can't work from home. Um, RPG Grandma, I prefer to hook up in real life versus video. Now, I prefer gaming face to face. However, my my issue is uh, old school groups in New York City are not really found. And had a group out in Long Island, and that a couple of years ago, that fell apart. So my group happens to people that are up in Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Georgia, um, oh, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Thank you. Um, and that's okay. So we play in a VTT in Discord, and it for us, it is pretty much on par sitting face to face. The same ball busting goes on. I find that ball busting amongst a group of friends happens whether you're sitting on Discord or with Roll20 or hey, even our Friday night videos twice a month. You see a lot of that same ball busting.
That's
Uh,
that particular group.
that's the group dynamic. So now at North Texas, we'll be able to get together and bust balls in person. So it should be a lot of fun. Grandma again. So people are going back to the normal work schedules and hanging out together again. So yeah, all that will affect virtual time spent in the hobby.
Yeah.
Exactly. And let's be honest too. Part of going to work in a physical environment is socialization.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, the camaraderie that you develop with your staff is huge and helps so much to like
Yes.
retain your staff and have them feel supported by you as a supervisor. Um, and then, you know, to be home, there's your supervision is in this slot, you know, like it always was, but like, yeah, those hallway conversations that sometimes you have
Mhm.
really sustain people through the week until it's time for their hour to have their supervision. But you know, um it's more difficult to have um to build team
Right.
when you're working virtually. Because like when I was on my, you know, when I was at home, it was like me and my clients, and you know, my supervisor was there, but I knew the time slot to talk with that person was on this day at this time.
Right.
You know, and it was not that you couldn't call, you could call it an emergency, but you know, you really didn't want to because you wanted to, you know, just keep your schedule. You just wanted to keep things moving.
Keep things moving, get things
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I mean, so listen, does working virtually from home have its benefits?
Absolutely.
Certainly. Commute. Oh, telling me there's no commute? Great. But you know what? I learned when I retired, I missed something about my commute. And you know what that was? Listening to podcasts. I used to listen to podcasts on my commute to and from work.
Right. How tuned in you are
And
with certain things in the
and
community.
and I don't do anywhere near as much podcast listening because I don't have that commute. When I was working, I got to talk with my staff, with supervisors. You found out, the dirt going on.
Right. Who was wanting to leave?
Yeah.
Who said what to who?
Yeah. You lose that. Now, I will say within the gaming community, I have a number of friends, and guess what? A lot of it's phone calls, a lot of it's PMs. We don't, or a lot of it's text messages, but we don't really like communicate with general Facebook. Yeah, and that's not the way we share conversations. It's more direct, and I still think that direct conversations are a huge part. Facebook, Twitter are all standing in a soapbox and spitting into the wind and hoping your spittle gets some attention and then people respond to you. So now, John says, John, I'm going to say John D because I'm going to screw up your last name if I try to pronounce it. Uh, get off social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. You will not miss a damn thing. And I would say, you know what? You're right. And at the same time, you're wrong. Because there are things that I find from the communities on Facebook that I value a lot. Whether it is going to specific gaming communities or the OSR community or the Tenkar's Tavern community,
Right.
these are communities. They have a value. It's that damn main Facebook feed where you find 90% of the
Toxicity.
toxicity on Facebook. Now Twitter doesn't have groups, so Twitter is all basically fucking toxic, and that's why some of your most toxic individuals and troll accounts go to Twitter because they're like, "Hey, this is a swamp. It's a perfect fit for me." So again, I'll be the bouncers will open the doors with your face and toss you out,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing, right? I mean, listen, I go to bars that don't have bouncers, the neighborhood bars, but who was acted as a bouncer?
Both of us.
Yes, my sweet little wife. It's like, yeah, let's get this person, get him out, lock the door, because because you know where it's going to go, right? I mean, again, I'm a retired cop. If I'm going to go out drinking, I'm generally not carrying. So what am I doing? I'm always looking for the improvised weapon. Yeah, you know what? I need that. Yeah, I need the double shot glass now, the wine glass.
Oh no, I've never thought that way.
Oh,
I'm like,
well,
let's just get this guy away from the young ones.
oh no, I'm always thinking tactics.
And like I guess because I'm like 5'1", and I'm not that threatening. I can put people's hands behind their back and help them towards the door.
Yeah, people don't like it when I put their hands behind the back, Rage. They're like, you've done this before. Yeah, numerous times. TXG, I have a coworker who is just as honest online as he is in real life. I'm just waiting for the hammer to drop.
Uh-oh.
Well, and that's it. Like, listen, the reason why, or many reasons why we love doing this Saturday night live stream, and I think the nicest, most special compliment that I ever got was, dude, I watch all your live streams, and I really enjoy talking crit with you and Mike. The banter, the back and forth. You guys really have good guests, but I really love Gamers Health. Gamers Health, I get to see Eric. I don't see Tenkar. I mean, if you meet me at a convention, you should feel like you know me if you've watched the live streams or these videos, because I don't put on a show. All right, what you see is what you get. But I will put all my cards on the table. I will talk about traumatic experiences in my past and things like that. They'll come up as part of the conversation on Gamers Health. I don't have a problem with that, because that is what defines who and what I am. And when it comes to like your mental health, you have to be comfortable with yourself. And if you're embarrassed about who you are, and you really better take a double check and reevaluate yourself,
right?
Because you're gonna shorten your life just by the stress you're gonna put yourself through.
Yeah, it's that
every
truth
time.
thing that we were talking about earlier. The truth that you have, about what your life has been like, and it's
Right.
a unique truth that's only gonna be yours, and what makes you, and
Right. I mean, when I first started my solo podcast a number of years ago, my first 2 episodes, which I think are deleted at this point, I put on a very nondescript, non-New York accent, and I was going to be doing my videos like this, and then I realized I sound like a fucking tool. All right, it's actually it's very nice to be at a convention and being somewhere talking with Rach and hear from across the room.
I know that voice anywhere.
Yeah, I know that voice anywhere. That's Tenkar, or Rach would get called out, and it's very sweet, because again, we got people on Saturday night. You could be, well, actually, if we were younger, we probably would be hanging out on a Saturday night, right? It's Saturday night, party night. or
we're old and retired.
we're getting up there. We're collecting that AARP shite. Or once you get your AARP,
Once we started getting our senior discount.
Oh my God, yes.
We got it in the
No, buffet. Senior discount. And our niece was like,
she got charged as an adult.
Yeah, she got charged as an adult.
Which was rightly so because she's 12.
Yeah.
And
but we got the
cutoff is like 10, I think.
Yeah, we got the senior discount. I was like,
yeah.
Damn.
It must have been all the white hair.
Now that being said,
I should have been getting it years ago.
I got my first senior discount when I was still working, Rach. So that's what, 7.5 years ago?
Yeah. Friendlies.
Yeah, Friendlies. And I was like, and I'm looking at the bill and it's like 15% senior discount on it. And I'm looking at it, I'm like,
that's awesome.
And my niece, Shannon, was like, I guess like 5. She's like, Uncle, what's wrong? I go, I just got the senior discount. What does that mean? I go, it means I'm saving like, I don't know, $7 on this bill. That's awesome. It means they think I'm old as fuck. Oh, it's awesome though. You're saving money. I'm like, all right, thank you. Put it in perspective. So you gotta take it as it comes, right? You gotta make the best of it. Social media is toxic on a large scale. The problem is some people think it is reality. Oh my God, Don, you are so and again, some people define themselves as who they are on social media. You know, they put on this huge persona on social media, and then the reality is.
Well, then you kind of have to, like, for certain people, like, you know, there's certain people who have jobs like we had that, but then again, maybe not. Like some people like don't, like they put the persona so that people can't necessarily know who they are, but then.
No. Yeah. I'm talking about people who put on a persona because they want to redefine themselves.
Yeah.
They are not speaking to anybody in particular, but they're like probably would define. I'm gonna say they would define themselves in real life as a loser, and therefore they can take social media. They can take the falseness of the internet and make a new image of themselves.
Oh, right, because it's all an illusion anyway.
Yes. So that's a huge part of the problem. You can
be so many different people all at the same time.
TXG has absolutely no filter. When I try to explain to him the consequences, he's a younger man. He replies, I don't give two shits. I hate seeing a train wreck, but it is what it is. Yeah, we kind of call that. And I guess it goes back to the Opie and Anthony show. There was a no filter Paul, and that's what I was thinking about.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I've explained this before. I'll explain it again. But my legal last name is not Tenkar, it's Stina. Looks like Stein with an extra E thrown in. So why Tenkar? Why have I been Tenkar since I hit social media? I was an active cop. I was a sergeant in internal affairs. And the NYPD, and the city of New York in general, doesn't take kindly to people, especially back then, who participated in social media, who may, at some point, say something horribly stupid that is a detriment to them. And the police,
and it's very easily done,
right?
Just because you're human,
right? And if you say something that is detrimental to the police department, shows it in bad light, you can have it used against you. You could lose vacation days. You could go to the trial room. You could get termination suspension, which is basically put on 1 year probation and lose 30 vacation days. Or you can even get terminated. So I said, screw that. I'm not using my real last name. Now, at the same time, where people like I was friends with, or some of my detectives, like, hey, Sarge, what are you? What are you on Facebook? Oh, here's me on Facebook. And they friend me and all that stuff. And it was all fine and dandy until I'm about 3 months from running my time, so 6 months from retirement. And my lieutenant goes to me, hey, Eric, what the fuck? I go, what do you mean what the fuck? He goes, dude. He goes, I'm trying to find you on Facebook. I can't find you on Facebook. I wanted to friend you. He goes, your last name isn't very common, and you're not there. And he goes, and I know you're there. I go, what do you mean you know I'm there? He goes, you're too wired in. You're too tech savvy, because I would go to work and work the desk on the midnights with my iPad, and I was playing courses from the Great Courses Plus about like homicides and all that other stuff. So he goes, you're too fucking wired in. He goes, So where are you? I go, Lou, I'm not going to help you. I am too close to retirement.
Mm.
He's like, fuck you. It's a challenge. And I swung out for 2 days and I come back and my mailbox has, if you've ever seen my dwarven avatar online, it's on social media here or there. It was printed out in full color, pasted, and then taped on top of that on my gun locker / mailbox. And I'm like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, fucker. And I'm like, hey, Lou. He's like, hey, Eric. Or should I say Tenkar? I go, yeah, Lou, yeah, I see you figured it out. He goes, oh, no, I didn't figure it out. I go, what do you mean you didn't figure it out? He goes, oh, I spent a day and a half trying to figure it out. I couldn't find you for shit. So then I went to our computer guys. And they found you in about 4 hours. I'm like,
4 hours. That's not too bad.
no. I was like, really? And I goes, and then what they probably did is they probably backtracked me. Oh, you're finding the caltrop on the floor. Rachel's like, I just stepped on this. But stop playing with the dice on the floor, Rach. I can hear you doing it. But he was good about it. He was like, listen, no, I'm not telling the job. I just needed to know for myself. And he's like, so what do you think about running some D&D sessions for the guys on midnight? So I went, are you serious? He goes, yeah, no, I'm serious, man. I mean, we could probably take half the.
On
How many?
break?
Yeah, just leave 2 people manning the phones, and we all go to the lunchroom. Who the hell is here? We'll just make sure the duty captain isn't coming in, and we could do like a 2-hour session. Do it like once or twice a week.
Whoa!
Oh, he was all excited. He used to play it in high school. But then what
Oh,
happened?
really? He had a
Yeah,
total frame of reference.
yeah. But then what happened was, and actually Matt Finch was going to supply us with books
Oh,
for Swords and Wizardry, and then
everybody was so excited. The police are gonna play.
and then like 3 days later, he got transferred out of the office. I had nothing to do. One had nothing to do with the other, but it was just very interesting how that played out. Because I can just imagine myself right before retirement getting nailed for taking a bunch of detectives off their desks for 2 hours to play Swords and Wizardry in the break room on the midnight shift. I'm sure that would have gone over very well as I'm going through the pension section. No, you got to wait for your department trial, and that'd be a weird one to explain. So, toxic Facebook is a thing. Yes, it is, Grandma. It certainly is. And you can't let social media be the source of self-confidence. You certainly can't.
Sure.
I mean, one of the best things that happened with my retirement. I was a cop for 20 years, and you take pride in your job, you take pride in your work. But when I retired, it cemented the idea that yes, I was a cop, but that wasn't what defined me. I didn't have this huge transition issue, and I was like, and I am a gamer, and it isn't really what defines me totally either. These are just aspects of me. They make up the greater me, right? These are all parts that make up you, but you're so much more. And that's what we have to remember. And social media makes up anywhere from this much to this much of total value of what you are. And people forget that. People misplace that knowledge. People just they want the accolades.
That's why people are so much more fragile now.
Yes, yes, and it's but the thing is because
There's so much emotional incontinence.
you know,
Yeah.
I
Like even in normal interactions with people,
I could not go
like
to,
on the roadway or whatever.
yeah, I could not go back to. I mean, I finished my bachelor's in history, but I couldn't go back to college and do graduate school in person and deal with the new generation who has grown up with the idea that everybody gets a participation trophy and that you need your safe space when you need your safe space. Because I never had a safe space.
No.
And I never got a participation trophy. And I can see, like, in my son is 30, and I can see the frustration with him because he never got a participation trophy. And he never pretty much got a safe space. He went through a lot.
Yeah, no.
And he as basically a frontline supervisor at his job, I can see the frustration that he has in dealing with some of these people where he's like, just take fucking responsibility for your work. And they don't because they've never had to take responsibility. And that's a whole other topic. TXG, I'm a little more than a year away from retirement. I've started being called sir by 40-year-olds. It's
Oh.
something that has taken some getting used to. Um, the first time I got when I got promoted to sergeant, I had a bunch of my cops were calling me sir. I'm like, and I put an end to it right away. I go, you can call me Sarge, or if we are, amongst ourselves, if I'm giving you a book of scratch, I'm inspecting you on a post, and we're having a normal conversation. I'm Eric. You're John. If we're amongst others, the public, or if we're amongst people higher in rank than me, then certainly Sarge, Officer so and so, that's fine. But I'd rather you call me by my first name or by my rank than call me sir. Sir is my father. Sir is, you know, uh, some sir is like to me. Sir was always captain and above. It's like somebody that's in charge of shit as opposed to just being responsible for shit. I was responsible.
Oh, because the military
Yeah, well,
kind of ranking.
I guess. Well, in the military, it's not quite
Paramilitary.
Yeah, it's paramilitary because it's not the same rank structure. Military sergeants or NCOs, you'd never call them sir. But
oh no,
didn't know. RPG Grandma. Oh yeah, I hid my identity on Facebook for years because my job was a toxic work environment.
Yeah.
For years, quarantine forced me to come out of hiding. And that's certainly part of it. I mean, people, the quarantine, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, has changed society in ways that will trickle down for years.
Yeah.
Years. And I personally believe, and I don't think this should surprise anybody, that our major cities are going to take a population loss over the next 10 years. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be hard.
You think that's still happening?
I still think they're going to take a population loss.
You think our bubble is going to burst, our housing bubble?
I think that what's going to happen is that people that were taking a lot of these information or tech jobs that can be done remotely are going to refuse to take a job that's going to require them to come into the office. Again, if it's quality, there's a trade-off. Coming into the office allows you to socialize. And we're going to lose a lot of that ability to actually socialize with our fellow man.
Almost like there's certain work that you get done just in those interactions.
Yes. We're going to lose a lot of that ability, but the benefits are going to be seen. Like if you told me, if I was an office worker and I was commuting in from Long Island, and my commute was an hour long on the Long Island Railroad and then the subway to get to my office each way. So that's 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week that I'm commuting. Probably costing me at that point probably $20 a day out of my pocket.
At least,
but we're going to lowball it. $100 a week. So you're telling me I can work from home, get back 10 hours a week to do my own.
Because those peak train fares, those peak train tickets are a lot.
But I'm saying, like, we're lowballing. We're going for round numbers. Okay. We're going to say I get back 10 hours a week and $100 in my pocket a week. I get back 40 hours a month. I get back a week of work time and $400 in my pocket, and I can work from home. I can work in my underwear and a dress shirt and tie because nobody sees you from the waist down, right? I mean, just think about it. These are, I mean, for some, this is the ideal environment. For others, it isn't. And there are a number of jobs, obviously, that you can't do from home. You can't.
Right.
Law enforcement, fire department, sanitation, traffic, all this other stuff. You got to be in. You got to be there.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff can be done remotely. And if I could do a job that would make me have to work in Manhattan and pay local, or even different, you work in Manhattan, I could live in the Poconos now and pay very little in rent and much less in taxes than I would pay in New York State. So why?
That's true.
How life-changing was retirement? TXG.
question?
Good question. I am going to say, um, I guess I had a preview of retirement 10 years prior when I was out sick for 11 months. I had Hodgkin's. So I had chemo, I had radiation, the job paid me a full salary. I was out for 11 months. They gave me a very generous pass where I could be out of the house from generally 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. I didn't really do much with it. Um, and then I played a lot of video games during that time. I'll be honest. But when I came close to retirement, I realized that I need something else to be part of my scheduling. Because the first thing that goes when you retire is what day of the week is it? Doesn't make a difference anymore, right? You're retired. Who gives a fuck? Except for us, we have alternate side of the street parking twice a week, and if I forget what day of the week it is, I get a
A ticket.
$65 summons. So I don't really want that. But you have to do something. You have to get involved in something. So
You
I
need to draw your sense of community from some place.
something. So and you have to draw your sense of responsibility to do something. So
Mm-hmm.
as retirement was coming up on me, I was already thinking about, hey, I want to do a viral OSR RPG product that can be printed on one piece of, uh, computer paper and printer paper, and have it distributed in libraries and game stores, and people could play an OSR game. And that was my little dream, and I was trying to work it out as I was retired. And I pitched the idea without knowing I was pitching it to Zach Laser over at Frog Guide Games, and Zach came back to me less than 2 days later, like a day and a half later, goes, "So yeah, it's on." I go, "What's on?" He goes, "Your game." I go, "What game?"
Mm-hmm.
"Your idea." "What idea?" He goes, "Your pitch." I go, "What pitch?" He goes, Did you pitch a game to me?" I go, "No, I was bouncing some ideas off you. I wasn't pitching." It was, "Well, it's on." I go, "What do you mean it's on?" "We're gonna call it Swords and Wizardry Light. You can write it off of Swords and Wizardry." I go, "I can." And that was Rach knows it occupied me, and it got me going, and it got me active. So then, as that was going, then I was like, you know what, I need to do something more, and I got to see that people like Hobbs were doing
Oh, the
Anchor.
podcasting. Yeah.
So then I was like, I could do a podcast, and I've learned something about me, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I need a routine. All right, so routine keeps me going. So I blog on a daily basis, except for Sundays. I have a official guest poster in Costco, but I blog 6 days a week, and I put up a cast, either a pre-recorded uh, episode or a live stream, 7 days a week, one a day, because that keeps me on a routine. Doesn't matter if it's Christmas or Easter Sunday or my birthday, something's getting up. Now maybe I'll record something early, but something's getting done because I need a routine. So I personally think that when you're going to retire, you're going to need a routine. Like my father, he took an early buyout from the phone company, retired at 59 and a half, and he was like in a panic mode as retirement was coming up. And he was like, "I'm going to drive a school bus." And I looked at him like, "Dude, you hate fucking kids." I mean, he likes kids, but he hates kids. Like when they're loud and
He likes his own
yeah, he likes his own.
family, his
Yes,
kids,
but
but he doesn't really
I was
like
like,
other
I was like,
kids.
"Pop, you're not going to drive a school bus. I'm gonna, I have to, bail you out of jail. I mean, I don't want to have to do that." And then he was like, "I'm gonna get a dog." I'm like, "Pop, you've never owned a dog. We've never owned a dog. Why would you want a dog?" "Well, it'll get me. You don't want a dog." So instead, he actually found two hobbies. He took up metal detecting, also known as beach combing or beach hunting, and he does metal detecting. He's been doing that now for 20 years.
I'll be starting with him in the summer.
he's getting older and he wants company. He's in great shape. I swear to
Yes,
God.
he's nearly 80,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's quite fit.
So and then he also took up oil painting, and he's been doing that for just about as long, and he's very skilled in it.
Yes.
He's very good.
He actually melded the two. He recently did sort of a portrait of he was at the beach and he found a rare bird that comes out this way sometimes. He found it like in fishing wire, but it was like still alive. So he had to like free it from like the fishing weight to the fishing line. And so we ended up doing the research to find where do we take this sick
Yep.
bird that's been hurt. And so we found the Wild Bird Fund, which does a lot of like medical intervention and rehab for birds in New York City. So we ended up bringing him there, but he did a painting.
Yes,
of
beautiful
this.
painting.
It was a black scoter,
So,
which is a seabird that I guess, yeah, isn't found here very often. So
you know,
it's pretty cool.
TXG, where I work, we've already seen people leave because they can't work from home.
Mm.
They were actually top-notch folks, but couldn't justify coming in for what they were getting paid. And again,
I can totally see that.
I commuting time, commuting cost. I mean, what's my big expenses when I was working day tours? I'd come in and I'd buy breakfast at Manhattan prices, and then I'd buy lunch at
Mhm.
Manhattan prices. So going back to, I don't know, we'll go back 10 years to 2013. I was probably spending $25 a day on food in Manhattan.
Oh yeah,
easily. So imagine.
Well, you would do that just once at one of those salad spots.
Yeah, so
you know, like the just salad or
yeah, imagine saying to yourself, "Hey, I could cut off $500 a month of buying food alone."
Mhm.
That's huge. So we have found out in retirement that our budget really hasn't changed because we're not buying
food in Manhattan anymore.
right. We're not buying food in Manhattan anymore. I don't have a commuting cost anymore. And New York State doesn't tax your pension. New York City doesn't tax your pension. So, and you're not paying into Social Security anymore. So, in the end, the difference in my income was minimal. So, it only problem is I don't get raises based on the
for
contracts.
cola.
Yeah, my COLA doesn't kick in until 62, and then it's only on the first $18,000 of my pension in a year. So it's going to be a very slow gain. TXG, they can make more and work from home. Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
And that's good that people are feeling more of a sense of agency. You know, maybe that's something that people needed to have, you know, and a good thing that's come out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I remember pre-pandemic, it was like, you know, you felt like you had to work. It was kind of trapped off in some ways. And then, you know, trapped off in the way of like, okay, well, what else is out there? Do I really want to move right now? You know, all that stuff. And like that you had to go through that same grind every day and couldn't think of it being any different.
Right.
You know, but that the pandemic showed us that, you know, yeah, there's so much more that you can do from home.
So I mean, and that's true. And with Rach, her retirement was kind of like gradual.
Yeah.
First, it was work from home, and then it was a cut back on the hours, and then it was
I can't anymore.
I'm done. TXG, I'm trying to figure out whether to stay where I'm at for a few more years, get another job, or do something else when I retire. Again, I don't know your financial situation, so I can't answer you on that level.
Yeah.
But you're going to need to find something to do when you retire. Now, maybe you always wanted to write the next big fantasy novel. Maybe you wanted to start publishing role-playing materials. Maybe you wanted to start, I don't know, a YouTube channel. Whatever you want to do in retirement, start it before retirement. Part-time, on the side, and see if you like it. And if it's something that you're passionate enough about, that it's going to be able to fulfill those needs in you. Okay? But you got to know beforehand. I mean, I already knew that, being part of the gaming community was important to me. Things like Gamers Help became very important to me in 2020. 2020, I was hospitalized 3 times and never had COVID. Go figure that shit out. But in 2020, I realized that I spent a career as a cop with the idea in my head that if I change one life for the better in 20 years, I've accomplished what I was set out to do. It was a well spent career. Well, I know I did that. I was told I did that. So now I was like, all right, well, you know what? My community now is my gaming community. And this is where I need to spend some of that time, some of that effort, and do what Rachel and I are doing. We're very passionate about this, as if you couldn't fucking tell. And I'm also a potty mouth, but that all became because I'm a cop. I can't help it. Grandma, routines are helpful towards quality of life.
Yes.
Yes, and they ground you, and that's part of it too. I mean, they keep you in that. I got to do this. All right, and then once you've done it, and it's like, all right, well, we're gonna go out and do Forest Park and give the dog a nice huge walk.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna do this. We're gonna.
Or like certain things, like I have a regimen like for exercise.
Yes.
That I really value, and so like if I don't get to do it on a given day, I'm like, shit, it's just not right. The day isn't right. So,
right. And we also have like family responsibilities.
Yes.
With have schedule.
Yes.
And then, but I do know what it is like to not worry about what day of the week it is. When I was out sick for those 11 months, I was supposed to see my department doctor every 4 weeks. And I remember getting a phone call, and it was a civilian PAA. I forget her name. She was a sweetheart. She was always good to me. And she's like, Officer Steen. I'm like, yeah, hey, what's up? She goes, where were you today? Home. No, you had an appointment today. I go, what? I go, no, I have an appointment on Tuesday. She goes, yeah, today's Tuesday. I go, what? She's like,
oh no.
But she's like, it's not like this hasn't happened with others. I go,
oh, that was nice.
She goes,
because she could have left you feeling.
Yeah, because I was out long term sick. So she's like, all right. So she goes, so listen, you come in tomorrow, and you were always down for tomorrow.
Nice.
So I was like, thank you. But she goes, but don't forget. I'm like, no, I won't forget now. So it was very sweet. And then she got jammed up later on, so I actually saw her on my internal.
Oh my God, you had her.
I had her. She got jammed up. It had
PA. She
was a PA.
Guys?
Yeah, she had to report to me, and Janice, and we both knew her, and we were both like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And basically, what happened in her case was that her son got arrested, and at the house, the cops came looking for him, and she did what a mother should do. Don't take my child. They hit her for obstructing governmental administration, and we were a little proactive in getting those charges cleared.
She was able to go back to.
Yeah,
good.
So we she was a sweetheart, really was. Tom, with inflation, 2-item Mickey D's drive-through is $25 these days. Yeah, listen, I'll be honest with you. Our Mickey D's has one combo that somehow doesn't price like everything else does. And that's the triple cheeseburger combo, which comes out to be like $7.29. No idea. You can get 2 cheeseburgers and it's $10.
Oh, but he's not doing
we could do that even
the DoorDash or the
Uber, but no,
Ubers.
we could still place that order at ours.
Really? We could do it through the drive-through,
or the kiosk, whatever. But but only ours. Other local McDonald's don't have that deal. I don't know what the hell it is with ours, our local one. But yes, TXG. Yeah, listen, we all go through it, and my father was when I was like, you better have an idea what you're gonna do when you retire. You're gonna work security. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm gonna work. If I was gonna work security, I'd keep on working. It's like, and I thought about it briefly when we were talking about getting Rach to retire. Initially, it's like, because I made a promise to this young lady. I was like, when you hit 50, you should be able to retire or greatly downsize. That should be, even if it means me going back to work. And Rachel's like, no. Well, it all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, this, while we're using the computer, right? We're doing a video.
Mhm.
It's a live stream. This is real. We've got real people in the chat making real comments and real questions, and you're getting honest to God feedback.
Yeah.
Unscripted, unadulterated. There's no show going on.
Just basic interaction.
Just basic interaction. So if Facebook was like this, then Facebook wouldn't be as toxic, right? Think about it. If Facebook was the equivalent of doing a live stream, and yes, I know you can do live streams on Facebook. That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, if it was what it used to be, but since the big media,
Well, it just feeds on itself.
yeah, I guess.
So wow, we've been on for an hour and a half.
Oh wow!
Couldn't believe it. I wouldn't know it if I tried. And
We got through everybody's.
I've got to yeah.
Okay.
So holy shit. I mean, I look forward to these live streams, the Saturday live stream, every week. This is come Sunday, it's like, oh man, we'll do another live on Gamers Hell for another week.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm doing my first live of the week on Wednesday night, it's like, all right, Gamers Hell is right around the corner. So it's and I'll be honest too. I mean, when I worked, I knew a lot of couples that had successful marriages because they worked hours that were opposite each other. One worked 4 to 12s, one worked midnight. They might see each other, and they worked opposite days off, so they see each other crossing like ships in the night, but they didn't really spend much time with each other,
Right.
and that's why their relationship was successful. Rach and I are successful because we enjoy spending time with each other. And part of that, I'll be honest with you, is that we are complete without the other person. We are more complete as the two of us. We're stronger as the two of us. But it wasn't like we got married because we felt that I need to get married. Because we're both older,
right?
We got married because I felt more of me. I mean,
more yourself.
I felt you, as my mother put it, you made me a better me.
Oh.
Okay, you didn't change me; you just enhanced me. Bigger, better. You can improve him like the $6 million man.
Nice.
Yes, Don. I am a little tired. It doesn't help that I have COVID hair. All right. I haven't gotten a professional haircut since prior to COVID. I've gotten the mom, can you trim my hair?
See, we got to get you down there.
I know. I gotta
I
get that
have
done.
to get my ends trimmed.
So
But,
TXG, be good. And like I said, plan ahead of time. As long as you have an idea before you retire, it makes it so much easier. Don, Tina is my best friend and someone whom I love to be with, spend time with.
Yes.
Yeah, and that helps more than you could ever imagine.
Bottom line,
and we'll watch YouTube videos in the same room, but then Rachel put on her headset sometimes and watch them on her phone.
Right? Yeah, you don't need to hear about
makeup.
Well, perfume.
Perfume. Perfume.
Sometimes it'll be
it's a great note.
It'll be a makeup tutorial, but not so much.
Well, see, Rachel,
more so perfume and like reviews and.
All right. So what I will do is when you start watching those.
So if you put on something, I'm just like, I can take it or leave it, and throw my earbuds in, and then you put.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you put.
I'll put on the RPG stuff. Like
sometimes you'll do it, and I'll just say,
know.
Okay, well.
Unless it's Tom or Don.
Never. I never put the earbuds during Tom or Don
or Joe.
or Joe or
Yeah, I think that's about it.
yeah, and then other people will be like, "Oh, what's her topic?"
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's that one a girl that's popped into our feed now.
Oh yes, with the long orange hair.
Yeah, so that's just pretty interesting.
Yes,
Uh,
because that's more culture.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's talking. Yeah, so it makes it interesting.
Yes.
RPG grandma, sorry, taking calls relative to the past. It was expected. Our sympathies.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She goes, yeah, my husband's my best friend too. I am blessed. I mean, and that's what you want, right? Especially if you're gonna sleep next to the person. You know, it's like
Yeah, you gotta trust them.
yes, it's like
You gotta know they have your back.
So, Tammy, sorry I've been so silent. Looking at colleges with our senior Gabriella, college tours, but yes.
Oh, how exciting!
Love spending time with Tom. First, he's my best friend, and that's it. So yes, I think that's the common theme, right? Is that when your spouse is your best friend, it makes it so much easier because then you plan things around being with somebody you like to be with and enjoy, as opposed to feeling obligated. And again, I know people that are in those relationships.
Yes.
You know, and it's sad. Well, I think on this note, and I can't believe we still have 11 people watching this live stream.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much because, and
Mhm.
listen, the fuel that gets me through the week is Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a bad day, and you know those bad days happen, you know it's this community that gets me through it. So I really have to thank you all. It's been amazing, and tonight's been great, and I truly love seeing new names pop into the chat. So you all are great. Tammy, Don, been on social media. All the colleges have a feed and use drones, and others are filming walking tours. So much. Oh my god, I can't.
Oh wow, it's an exciting time for her though.
I can't even imagine it. Yes, Don. Everyone have a good night, nice weekend. Eric and Rach, you thank you both for your lives. Listen, thank you all for spending your time with us.
Thank you so
swear
much.
to God, I can't thank you enough. We're still working on the details of. Again, it's gone beyond just bringing in people to talk about hard stuff. We want to bring in people. Everybody's gone through different challenges in their life, whether it's literally physical. A lot of it's physical. Some of it might be spiritual or family. I'm going to try to touch on everything.
How do you mean as it relates to their heart thing?
Oh no, just how it relates to people in general. I think that we got more than just talking about cardiac issues, because it's just we've expanded beyond that, and I got to start setting up a guest list. At least,
yeah, we're always happy to have that.
So, folks, huge thank you.
Oh yes, there was a couple on last week that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were here.
Oh, okay.
Folks, I hope they got my email. I sent that. God only knows.
I'll send a follow-up.
Okay.
Never hurts.
Yeah. So, folks, as always, be safe, be well. God bless. And I mean this sincerely. God bless. It doesn't mean anything. If you don't believe, then all it is I'm wishing you good luck, and may the universe take care of you.
Yes.
And if you do believe, then it means what I say.
Take good care.
Roll those dice, roll them well. I'll be back again tomorrow with some random video. We will be back again next Saturday, obviously. And next live stream, I think, is Wednesday. Yeah, Mike and I don't think I've ever missed a night. God help us. Mike's even come in after having his hiney checked for the polyps. Oh,
whoa!
Yeah. He was still high in the.
I'm sure he's so thrilled right now that you're talking about this for him.
Oh, he talked about it on the live.
Okay.
He had to turn off the screen. He had to turn off his feed like 3 times to use the restroom.
Oh, poor guy.
So I could pick on him. He's my once a week work spouse. I'm allowed to say that. You're my 7 days a week spouse, though, Rich, so it's okay.